What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another video. But if you are new here, welcome period. My name is Sasha and this is my space. I hope that you all are doing well today, and I hope that you all have had the opportunity to see the Superfine exhibit at the Met. But if you haven't, then this video is definitely for you. Every first Monday in May, the Metropolitan Museum is the vessel or backdrop for the Met Gala. And this year's theme was Superfine, Tailoring Black Style. And the looks are usually outstanding in general, but this year's theme really got me excited. And when I think of Black style and Black culture, Black history, so many things come to mind. A multitude of different themes and different inspirations are what makes us so unique and so diverse and so eclectic. My personal favorite definitely had to be Teyana Taylor. I think she knocked it out of the park, and for her to be the very first one to arrive on the carpet, it was a really tough act to follow. Like, she gave me dandyism to the fullest. But what even is dandyism or a dandy? A dandy is defined as someone who studies above everything else to dress elegantly and fashionably. And as I said, this can be expressed in a multitude of ways, in the tailoring, in the fabrication, in the colors, in the sort of persona that you take on when you dress as a dandy. And all of these things plus more were represented in this exhibit. I learned so much, not only just about the history of our style and how we used it to make ourselves feel good, but how we also used it to blend in or sort of camouflage ourselves in order to survive. Women in particular found themselves cross-dressing as men in order to maintain their freedom. And then you had folks who took the scraps of what was discarded by their masters and created something in their own personal way to help them feel fly and feel good about themselves, no matter what circumstances they were currently in. I really feel like this exhibit did such an amazing job of even tapping into the psychological reasons behind why we may dress the way that we do and where those inspirations even come from. And this is a bit of what I'm going to be showing you all in this video. But before we dive in, I do want to show you guys some of the lovely books that I was able to get from the exhibit. When you first walk in, well, before you walk in, they have a ton of books and merchandise, including clothing and jewelry from Black designers and Black artists. And of course I had to get my hands on some. I'm such a book nerd, so I had to pick up some books. The first book I grabbed was, of course, Superfine, Tailoring Black Style. And y'all, this book is thick, okay? There's so much information and history in this book. If you go to see this exhibit, I urge every single one of you guys to get it. It's only 75 bucks, but honestly, it could have been so much more. And I do want to read y'all the quote that's written on the back. It says, "I laid out above 8 pounds of my money for a suit of superfine clothes to dance with at my freedom." The cover of this book was also shot by the incomparable Tyler Mitchell, who is just a force to be reckoned with in the art world. His work is so explicitly Black, but very, very chic and beautiful. And I think redefining the ways in which Black people see themselves and the ways in which people who are not Black see us. So I am so incredibly excited to dive into this further. I, of course, also had to pick up The Chiffon Trenches, which is a memoir by the one and only Andre Leon Talley. Our dear Andre, whom I wish was alive to see this, because this theme this year was exactly up his alley. He would have ate this up, and in the best way. I also picked up Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston, which I've never read, but I really feel like I should. It's such a classic. I also picked up a mini book of jazz poems. I love poetry. I'm a poet myself, so anytime I see a little poetry book that I can just slip right in my purse, you've got me. And last but not least, The World According to Yves Saint Laurent. As someone who used to work for the brand, I thought it was only fitting that I picked this up, and I can't wait to learn more about the way his mind worked. He was such an amazing designer and such an amazing person. I don't think it's very well known how much he put Black models at the forefront of his designs, of his runway shows, of his campaigns during a time when it was almost frowned upon. So Yves, we thank you very much. And those are just the books that I picked up, but there were so much more. And like I said, you guys, you have to check out this exhibit. It's so incredibly good. And now without further ado, let's dive into Superfine. Superfine Tailoring Black Style presents a history of Black style through the lens of dandyism, emphasizing the importance of sartorial expression to Black identity formation in the Atlantic diaspora, and the ways Black designers have interpreted and reimagined this history. Black dandyism, by and large engaged with by men, sprung from the intersection of African and European traditions of dress and adornment. Its history, from Enlightenment England to the contemporary art and fashion worlds of Paris, London, and New York, reflects the ways in which Black people have used clothing and fashion to transform their identities, proposing new ways of embodying political and social possibilities. The exhibition is organized into 12 sections that build a specific, but not definitive, vocabulary of Black dandyism inspired by the writer Zora Neale Hurston's 1934 essay Characteristics of Negro Expression. These conceptual and chronological groupings explore dandyism's complex history, while also centering its playful experimentation and hopeful resistance. They feature historical objects in a variety of media, as well as garments by contemporary Black designers that tell stories about self and society inflected by race, gender, class, and sexuality. Throughout, dandyism is visualized as a vehicle of productive tension between being fashioned and fashioning the self. And these 12 sections, as described above, which can almost define what dandyism is, are ownership, presence, distinction, disguise, freedom, champion, respectability, juk, heritage, beauty, cool, and cosmopolitanism. I think for me, the section that really intrigued me the most had to be disguise, for sure. This is where I learned about Ellen and William Taft, a couple who ran thousands of miles for freedom. Ellen was very fair-skinned, so she dressed as a gentleman and passed as a white male from an upper-middle-class society, and her husband, who was darker-skinned, pretended to be her loyal Black male servant with the aid of a dandiacal disguise. So for them, Ellen and William, it was really a way for them to survive, a way for them to escape to freedom and maintain their livelihoods. But on the other hand, dandyism wasn't always a means of survival for everyone, especially for W.E.B. Du Bois. W.E.B. Du Bois was a sociologist, historian, and Pan-Africanist who was the first Black man to earn a PhD from Harvard University and one of the best-dressed men in turn-of-the-century America. He wore elegant top hats and tailcoats, which are very, very upper class, even now today. So for him to have that innate desire to express himself and his style in that way, I thought was really, really interesting. And the fashion in the room was so overwhelming in the most inspirational way. There were pieces on display from Louis Vuitton, from Balmain, from Pierre Moss, Theophilio, Ralph Lauren, Telfar, Laquan Smith, just to name a few. And every single piece, although all under the same umbrella of dandyism, expressed itself in the most unique way and really distinctive to that particular brand and that particular time period. And for me, that is just the beauty of Black style and of Black culture, Black history, Black people. We are so diverse and so unique. Every piece in that room was speaking the same language, but totally different dialects. And that's how I interpreted it. Another part of the exhibit that I also really loved was the second to last theme, cool. And this section of the exhibit begins with a quote from Miles Davis, one of my favorite musicians. And he says, "Being rebellious and Black, a nonconformist, being cool and hip and angry and sophisticated and ultra clean, whatever else you want to call it, I was all those things and more." In the latter half of the 20th century, Black designers and style leaders were at the center of redefining how men dressed and showed up to work and play. This turn to exquisitely styled casual dress revolutionized menswear, featuring khaki, denim, tracksuits, and knitted cardigans. This relaxed and easeful form of Black dandyism sartorially communicated cool, an undefined concept produced when fashion and accessories, posture and movement come together, attracting notice and producing desire. Cool takes its inspiration from the Kariba suit, which became popular with politicians in the formerly colonized islands of the Caribbean in the early 1970s as a symbol of their adaptation of and freedom from European traditions. The self-styling of jazz musicians and hip-hop artists depicted respectively in Art Kane's 1958 photograph Harlem and Gordon Parks' 1998 remix Great Day in Hip Hop bookend this movement. Jazz musicians adopted styles of casual collegiate elegance, while in the 1980s the luxury label inspired and branded apparel of celebrated designer and stylist Dapper Dan came to define hip-hop style. Contemporary designers pay homage to these now canonical modes with fine materials and culture-like construction techniques. And this is really cool to me because I find it so interesting how time goes on and we discover new fabrics and new ways to use these fabrics and how they become a part of our daily life, because in some ways, you almost feel like jeans and khakis should have been a part of daily style all the time, but it wasn't until the later half of the 1900s that really became popularized and introduced into everyday wear. These are things that I personally love to wear as well, so I just think it's all very, very cool. This exhibit not only inspired me so much, but taught me so much about the history of my people. I can't wait to take some of these inspirations and incorporate them into my style moving forward. So you guys, I really, really hope that you all enjoyed this video. And if you did, give a like, give a thumbs up, leave a comment. Tell me what was your favorite part. Tell me when are you going to go see Superfine. It is open until October, so you've got time. I myself am already planning a second trip to see it again because it was that wonderful. And I can't wait to learn even more than what I did the last time. So thank you all so much for watching. I love you, I love me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.